Okay, welcome back to another video, everyone. My name is Elite, and today we're making a video for someone specific. As you know, I'm a massive Warhammer nerd from my few lore videos. We're going to be doing another one because my friend Strath, who you've seen in a few videos, they are wanting to get into Warhammer, and when they saw how many Heresy books there are, they said, "What the fuck?" To which I replied, "Yeah, but you only need to read about 20 of them to get the full picture." So, to help them out, we're going to go through what I think is necessary reading, what's not worth reading, and what could be worth reading if you want extra context. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go through as many as I can. Not all of them will be super in-depth, and we will be going through in chronological order. So, let's get on with it. Though before we start, by the time this video is going out, tomorrow I will be streaming on Twitch for a long while, as it is my 1-year affiliate anniversary. So if you are seeing this in the first 24 hours or so, feel free to stop by and we will be checking it out. Some games, lots of Marathon, Destiny, maybe some other crap. I also want to say if this video isn't going to be a very visually engaging video, it's going to be this basically the entire time. So if you want to throw me on in the background while you watch something else, that helps me out massively. Without further ado, let's jump into the first few books. Now, the first 5 books, in my opinion, which are Horus Rising, False Gods, Galaxy in Flame, and Flight of the Eisenstein, along with Fulgrim, are all necessary reading. Realistically, you can swap Fulgrim out into the worth it but not required. I think it is required. I think it was a phenomenal book, but it's mostly up to you. I would suggest and absolutely say read the first 4. Minimum, read the first 3. Horus Rising obviously sets up everything else that happens. It introduces you to what a Space Marine is, what the Imperium is, how things function within the universe. You also get to meet Horus Lupercal, who is literally the reason everything happens. Moving into False Gods, it's more of the same stuff. You have the same characters that are going through the motions. You get more Horus, you get more Garviel Loken, you get a lot of the Sons of Horus. You see a few other legions as well. It's been a while since I read False Gods, so I'm a little bit fuzzy on it. Same thing with Galaxy in Flame. Galaxy in Flame is where the Heresy really kind of starts. This is around the time where Istvan takes place, and if you don't know what Istvan is, read the book, you won't regret it. This also correlates with Flight of the Eisenstein because Flight of the Eisenstein takes place during the Istvan massacre, and during the drop, or just before the drop site massacre takes place. Fulgrim, on the other hand, is a little bit different. See, the Horus Heresy books aren't necessarily chronological in the way that they take place. Some books take place before the Heresy and then during the Heresy, where other books take place during events of the Heresy, but they came out a lot later. Fulgrim is one of the books where it takes place just before the Heresy starts and at the opening stages of the Istvan massacre. So it is kind of required reading in that sense. You also get to really dive deep into the Emperor's Children, and it is a Legion introduction book. So I think it is well worth the read. The next book on the list is Descent of Angels. I have not read this, and I have heard nothing good. It is a Dark Angels book. I believe it is the introduction to the Dark Angels. Don't quote me on that. If you like Dark Angels, it's probably worth the read. I don't think it really adds anything other than introducing the Dark Angels. So I guess if you have time, give it a go, but I would not suggest it. Not a lot else to say on that one. Next up, Book 7, Legion. I have placed Legion into the necessary reading because not only does it take place before the Heresy, like this is set probably 30 or so years before the Heresy, it introduces you to the Alpha Legion, who are very important come towards the end of the Heresy, and they are some cool characters. It also gives you John fucking Grammaticus. Probably the most annoying, yet most important character in all of the Heresy. And in this book, he is actually pretty fucking decent as a character. He's not overly a dick. He's not overly bad or good. He's just fun and interesting to read about. And he catches himself in his own bullshit. And it's the only time that I accept him in a goddamn book. Any other book he's in, he can fuck right off. He is so bad. So now we have Mechanicum and Battle for the Abyss. I'm placing both of these and talking about both of these in the same place, mainly because I don't think they add a ton, but I think that they are worth having a look at if you've got the time. Mechanicum introduces the Mechanicus and the Martian Schism and that whole plot line. If you like Martian, or if you like the Mechanicum in 40k or have an interest in them, it's going to be worth your read. It's going to be up your cup of tea. But if you're not really into the Mechanicum, like I personally haven't read this one because I don't give a shit about the Mechanicum. But if you do, it's going to be worth your time. As for Battle of the Abyss, so the whole plot for Battle of the Abyss is ship warfare. There's not much else to it. It's basically just space combat. You get a bit of Ultramarines here and there. It's not really a Legion introduction book. It's just kind of expecting you to know who the Legions are that are involved. It's mostly Ultramarines and Word Bearers. Other than that, not much. I actually might, I'm dropping it to not needed. Mostly because, from memory, and I'm going to spoil it here, it's about destroying a big fuck off warship, and they do it, but then there's a second one. So they've essentially just done nothing. It's just a stupid plot point. Yeah, it's not needed. I don't even know why I put it in required if you have time. Okay, for this section, I've kind of said fuck it to the chronological thing. I've put Fallen Angels and Angels of Caliban into not needed. It's, again, just more Dark Angels. The Dark Angels aren't really important in their books. Their books are pretty crap, if I'm being serious. If you like Dark Angels, again, it's the same thing that I said for Descent of Angels. If you like Dark Angels, you're gonna like these ones. If you don't like the Lion, you're probably not gonna like it. Yeah, we're just moving on from the Dark Angels. I'm not too interested in those books, and I don't think you need them. Now, I've added necessary reading with 1000 Sun and Prospero Burns. I've also said fuck it to chronological release order again, but these ones are unique in the fact I would say necessary reading for one, not necessarily both. They cover the same event, which is essentially the start of the Heresy. Or at the very least, it's the end of the Great Crusade era and the beginning of the Heresy. It deals with the fall of the 1000 Suns and the Space Wolves destroying Prospero. It's the same event from the opposite point of view. I have personally read 1000 Sun. I have not read Prospero Burns. I want to read it to get the other point of view, but I do think you get enough of a point of view from one side to see everything. 1000 Sun, to my knowledge, Prospero Burns doesn't actually cover the Council of Nicaea, where 1000 Suns does, so maybe it's worth 1000 Suns a little bit more to read than Prospero Burns. But either one, they're interchangeable. Pick which one you like more, and then put the other one in the not required but worth it category. But I do think 1000 Sun is a little bit more interesting. I did enjoy that book when it got to about the halfway point. All right, Nemesis. Nemesis is not needed. It's an Assassinorum book. It takes place roughly 2 years after the Heresy begins, or 2 years after Isfahan. Yeah, you're not missing out on much. If you like Assassinorum stuff, you might like it. It is very much not plot relevant. There's like an attempt on Horus's life or some shit. Yeah, no, it's just not very plot relevant. very skippable. Moving on. Okay, First Heretic. I recently read this after putting it off because I thought it wasn't going to be a good book. It was fucking phenomenal. The characterization and the characters that you meet in it are great. I'm not a huge fan of the word bearers, but I actually started liking the characters. I like Custodes, and I started to not like the Custodes characters because they were kind of dicks throughout the book. A lot of stuff in the book, especially early in the book, like when Monarchia is burnt, really shows how disconnected things were and how things could have been avoided. For example, you know, the word bearers get basically censured. The Emperor himself literally says, "You're doing a shit job. Do better." After Guilliman destroyed all the major cities on the planet. But the way Lorgar looked at it was Guilliman destroyed the planet because he felt like it. Even though there was that disconnect. Honestly, read the book. It is so worth it. You get so much out of it. It is also a Legion introduction book for the word bearers. Moving on once again. Holy shit, we're at 11 minutes already. I need to talk faster. So I've added Deliverance Lost and the Outcast Dead into Not Needed. I actually don't know what the Outcast Dead is. I don't think it has any relevance. Hold on, actually, I'm gonna Google this. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Outcast Dead is completely unnecessary. It literally is just some random dudes on Earth dealing with some shit. Skip it. Deliverance Lost is a Corvus Corax book. It's the Raven Guard introduction book. It has the Alpha Legion in it, so if you enjoyed Legion, you might enjoy this because of them. I got probably halfway through and just said, nah, not for me, Chief. I don't particularly like Corax or the Raven Guard or the Alpha Legion for that matter, so I just kind of lost interest very, very quickly. Yeah, Not Needed. Doesn't have a ton of plot relevancy either. Now, I'm putting No Fear and Fear to Tread in necessary reading. No Fear covers the battle at Calth and the decimation of the 13th Legion by the Wordbearers and the World Eaters. It is a great book. It gives you a lot of Guilliman action. You also kind of get your first look at demons properly in this, which is great. It also goes on to start its own arc with the Unremembered Empire, which we'll get to in a bit. As well as it kind of starts to mention the Ruin Storm, which I can make another video on if you want to see it, so let me know in the comments below. Similar thing with Fear to Tread, except Fear to Tread is about the Blood Angels. It's not the best book ever. It does kind of suck in a few areas, but again, you get a lot of demons. You get a lot of warp fuckery, as I like to put it, and you get Sanguinius, and everyone loves Sanguinius, and if you don't love Sanguinius, then you're a traitor to the Imperium. So read the book. Moving on to the next ones, which were Angel Exterminatus and Betrayer. Angel Exterminatus deals with the Iron Warriors. I believe it's their first major book, as well as more Emperor's Children. Basically, this is Fulgrim ascending to demonhood by putting a dildo in Pedarabu's ass. Not literally, but that's essentially what happens. I think it's worth a read if you have time. If you liked Fulgrim and you like the Emperor's Children as well as the Iron Warriors, then I think it's probably worth giving a read. But again, it's not super relevant. It doesn't add to the main plot. Betrayer, on the other hand, I would suggest reading if you like No Fear, because it is a direct sequel to No Fear. It follows what happened in that book with Guilliman, as well as Lorgar and Angron going through the motions of fucking shit up because they suck as Primarchs. Damn, this is a long video. I just realized what the next book is, and we're gonna just deal with this trilogy in one go so I don't have to come back to it and repeat myself 3 times. Now, as you can see, I've added a Vulcan tier. The reason is, the 3 or 4 Vulcan books are actual dog shit. No, I'm kind of joking. They're just not good. Unfortunately, Vulcan is the Primarch that we all love, but constantly gets the short end of the stick when it comes to books. It's just not worth your time. Like, literally, I don't know which one of the books it is, but one of them, he has like 4 companions. I can't fucking name one of them. They add nothing to the story, and the only reason that they're there is so Vulcan can talk to somebody. That's it. So Vulcan tier for Vulcan, because he's a sad boy, and I feel bad that his books all suck in the Heresy. Alright, we're getting into one of my favorite books, Unremembered Empire. I think it's an awesome book. You get a lot of awesome moments from Gilliman. You get a lot of awesome moments from the Lion. You get to see Conrad Kurz. As well as, you don't get to see the Night Lords yet, but you get to see what Conrad Kurz can do. And that is very interesting for when we get to Pharos, because that's when you see the Night Lords properly from memory. You get to see Sanguinius at the end, which leads from Fear to Tread. This is one of the books that I absolutely recommend reading if you're a Warhammer fan. Scars is a interesting book. I think it's a necessary read because it does introduce you to the White Scars, and it is your first real look at Jagadai Khan. And it does move the plot forward in a way. That's all I can really say without... fuck it, I've spoiled all the books. Yeah, a lot of the White Scars turn traitor in this as well, which is pretty interesting. I think it's worth the read. That's basically what this entire list boils down to, as you know. Yeah, definitely read this. Vengeful Spirit is a interesting one where it does move the plot forward. It has Horus directly in it, but I don't think it's needed. Basically, the book revolves around Horus going to this one world in particular called Molech, where there is a portal into the warp that the Emperor went through at one point and gained a giant power boost. And then he was able to make the Primarchs. Horus goes there, he goes in the portal, he gets out. The reason I say it's not necessary is because you could skip this and be perfectly fine. On the other hand, it is kind of necessary because if you want to know everything that happens with Horus, because he is kind of the main guy for the Heresy, you're going to need to read this. It's really up to you. I think if you want the extra context, definitely read it. If you don't really care and you just want the main plot points, give it a skip, come back to it later. So I have skipped a couple things. As you've noticed, there's an anthologies bit down here. The reason I put it there is I don't think you should be or necessarily need to read the anthologies. Do that on your own time. So skip through a couple anthologies. That's why I'm skipping through certain books. Moving on to Pharos. Pharos is a direct continuation of the Unremembered Empire arc. You get to see more Barbarous Dantioch, you get to see Alexis Pollux, a little bit of Sanguinius, a little bit of the Night Haunter, as well as you get a good proper look at the Night Lords. That's what the name is. I genuinely started to like the Night Lord characters in this book, and it's specifically because of this book. They are a huge part of this book. Absolutely read this. It is great, especially if you liked Unremembered Empire. You will probably like this book. All right, moving on to Path of Heaven. Absolutely great book. Read it. More White Scars. arguably one of the best Heresy books around. Jagged Khan is amazing in this. Mortarion is in this from memory. Just read the book. Don't even just stop the video here. Go read the book. Go read the book right now and come back. Okay, we're gonna start quick firing these. Praetorian of Dawn is going to go into the necessary reading. It deals with the Alpha Legion invading the outer reaches of the Sol system. You get to see Regal Dawn for the first time. Something big happens at the end of the book. It is definitely worth the read. Master of Mankind. Absolutely worth the read. Phenomenal book. Deals with the Webway and the fallout from Prospero Burns and 1000 Sun. The Buried Dagger is a Death Guard introduction book. It deals with their fall to Nurgle. Well, Flight of the Eisenstein is technically their introduction book, but this is a reintroduction later in the Heresy. Yeah, not required. War Without End. That is an anthology, I think. Let me have a look. Yep, I was correct. War Without End is an anthology. Get in the anthology pile, you piece of shit. Titan Death. Not needed. It deals with the Battle of Beta Garment. It's about Titans. If you like Titans, read it. If you don't like Titans, don't read it. Damnation of Pythos, not needed. It deals with the Shattered Legions. Doing some shit. I don't remember. What's the next book? I paused to have a look. This is Herald of the Siege. This is a short story, so get the fuck out of my playlist. Ruinstorm, needed. It explains what the Lion, Gilliman, and Sanguinius are doing after the Unremembered Empire arc, and explains how Sanguinius gets to the how he gets a terror for the siege. Slaves to Darkness, I just finished. Not required, but definitely worth it. It sets up the final must at Ulanor, as well as it is a direct continuation from the book Wolfsbane, which is not required, but if you're going to read Slaves to Darkness, read Wolfsbane, as it leads into the other. Then it explains what happens to Horus during Slaves of Darkness. The Crimson King, not needed. I honestly don't know what this book is about, but hey, skip it. That's my list. Strath, hopefully this helped you and anyone else. Let me know what you think and where I went wrong, and why Vulcan deserves his own Heresy trilogy once again. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.